Well, Steve, hold on. Let me turn to somebody who I don't know yet, and we'll come back. So in the way back.
Mine is actually super quick. In this administrative citation enforcement program, there's a list of things that seem like nuisances from a neighbor to another neighbor. Is there something about excessively bright lights at night? I feel like there maybe was a county thing. I tried looking online, but I can't tell if it ever passed.
Okay, so what's your first name?
Lauren.
So Lauren, if you didn't hear her question, said, is it unlawful in some way to have really bright lights? And you know what? Occasionally someone asks a question that I don't know the answer to, and you have done it. So I don't know. Noise I could have talked about all day, but lights I don't know. Do you know, Jackie?
Actually,
Thank you.
You would contact the Department of Building and Safety and you report it via the 311 app, or you call, I can tell you your senior inspector is John Whipple.
Okay.
And you go john.whipple@lacity.org and ask them that question. There's a house in the Hollywood Hills right now. They go out and they actually measure the light, and if it's in violation, they're issued a notice to comply, which means turn it off or change your bulbs. So yes, there is a law.
Are you referring to the lights from Universal that are blinding the people on Mulholland, or are you?
No, I live in Nichols Canyon, and there's someone who installed like the kind of outdoor security lights that you would see in like a parking lot. And I live like in 3 bends in the road, and I can stand in my bedroom and read at night. I was running down.
So here's the thing. First of all, that would annoy the heck out of me. I can relate to that. And secondly, so if you communicate with Jackie if you didn't get her suggestions, because they're very specific. And Jackie, thank you for doing that. Yeah.
I'm just going to give my call. I'm going to stay afterwards for any follow-up questions, and I have lots of business cards. So,
We're kind of a road show. Yeah.
yeah.
Mike, real quick question. The Neighborhood Integrity Initiative. I know you say that you represent the client, and that's the city council, but that's a ballot initiative. So do you get to opine on the Neighborhood Integrity Initiative? What is your personal position as to that? Because I don't think the city council's weighed in.
Right. Okay. So do people know what was asked? So there's this thing that one name for it has been called the Neighborhood Integrity Initiative. The basic point of the initiative in broad strokes is the city should stop for a period of time allowing changes, a building to get an approval for a deviation from the general plan in that community. It's more detailed, and that's essentially the point, that people don't like a one-off decisions to be made about a development proposal unless the general plan is going to change in some way that transcends that one location. Fair enough?
It's a response to rapid development.
Well, but this is what it does.
Yeah.
So the short answer to your question is I have yet to take a position on it. I don't know what even is going to come to a ballot. My office has a job, and that is, if it gets the signatures, we will work to give it a title and assure that the language is appropriate on the ballot. It would be on the ballot in November. There are some discussions that I've heard about that are not secrets about whether there is some common ground that could be found among folks on it that might prevent it from coming to the ballot. I don't know if that's true. I yet know that there's another initiative that is not exactly competing, but was also recently introduced. A number of labor advocates have introduced an initiative that would require development to provide affordable housing on site if it's a housing development. These are related things. So I don't know yet. I may well take a position. I haven't decided yet. There are many months to go before this is going to be moving forward. A few of David's colleagues on the council have expressed an opinion about that initiative. There are several who are opposed to it. Others have yet to take a position. The mayor has not yet taken a position on the issue, and I haven't either yet. But stay tuned. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how to phrase this, so
just say it.
Stumbling through it. I think all of us are being drastically affected by these cell phone apps like Waze that are pushing enormous amounts of traffic through neighborhoods, small narrow roads here in the hill. I know that there's a petition that has been sent to the mayor addressing this. So I think my question is, can the city legally begin to interface and have a dialogue with these apps? And because they are, for instance, where I live, it's impossible for me to get out of my driveway. Impossible between certain
Got it.
hours. If
So-
the fire
so-
truck needs to come by.
Mhm.
So what is the city's legal position, or do they have one yet, or has it been addressed
Right.
as to how to interface with
Okay,
these
so
apps?
the question, if you didn't hear it, was Waze is messing up. Oh, tell me your first name again, please.
Mary Margaret.
Mary Margaret. So Waze is messing up Mary Margaret's life because there's a whole bunch of traffic that didn't used to be there. Emergency vehicles, she says, can't get around in her community. And she asked me, what is the city's legal position on this issue? I'll give you a little bit of an analogy. In the area near the Hollywood sign, a number of community members there worked with Waze. I think Waze is a Google thing. Worked with Waze, and Waze agreed not to direct people through that territory. So it was a collaborative thing as opposed to an antagonistic relationship. It is possible that that could happen here. I don't know. It is not a legal thing, though. It's not like the city is going to sue Waze for existing in that way. It's more of a political thing. Should there be some consensus in the community that should change, and some relationship created with Waze here, maybe something could change. I'm not sure. So no legal position. It may be something that the community can work on as a group, though.
So how would we begin to do what you're suggesting? What would we begin to do with that?
Yeah, I'll be addressing that.
Okay, so that wait for David to do that. Steve.
Yes, Steve Schonke here.
Yeah.
Question, I guess it puts you in the middle when the city or a city agency is not compliant. I'm thinking of DWP having trust funds of $45 million, and now they raise the rates, and how they can get away with, they say it is for a safety program, like they don't train the workers to be safe. I mean, I won't use the words, but it's a lot of baloney on that. And why didn't we take a stand and get the $45 million put back?
So, do you know what he's talking about? Good, everybody knows. So, this is controversy because there are these two trusts that were created that are headed by a board that is half management and half labor. And the LA Times reported a couple years ago that they hadn't spent meaningful money, what's happened to the money, and they hadn't been audited. Here's what I've done. So, when that story emerged, the city controller asked me if he had the authority to audit those trusts, because I believe in transparency. I occasionally, very rarely, issue formal city attorney opinions that are public opinions on really important issues. I issued one saying, Mr. Galbraith, you have the authority to audit these trusts and to subpoena documents and so on. So then he tried to do that. And some members of the trust board objected and prevented the audit from moving forward. And so there was a court battle, and we won. Then the people who didn't want the audits to proceed appealed, and there was a court battle, and we won. We fought, and we have now vindicated the principle that you as a ratepayer are entitled to know how your money is spent. Not just in this case, but in broader contexts as well. I'm very proud of that work. It took a lot of effort. It was a well-publicized effort that was it was a contested fight. Very contested. But I believe very strongly it's your money. You should know how it's spent. So that's my view.
Did we get any of it back?
So the money is in a trust is, as you know, segregates money aside, and I don't have a call on whether the money, what happens to that money. The money at this point wasn't, the controller performed an audit that revealed that there was no wrongdoing in the trust, and so the money stays with the trust. And ideally, we all agree that spending money for training and safety is a good thing. Ideally, we spent that way. So I don't have a role in the governance of the trust. My role was to make sure that you knew how it was spent. Now, unfortunately, I need to go. I think maybe a lightning round of a question and a half. Let's go here and here, and then I got to go. Did you have a question? Oh, see, this thing is, I should be an auctioneer, because when you just kind of do this, you got it. Go ahead.
Mike, I just want to say, I think you and your office are doing a terrific job.
Oh, thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So, in court, when things are going really well and your witnesses say what you want to say, you sit down and end with that. I think I will do the same. But let me just say, as I leave here, as I mentioned at the outset, I've had the privilege of representing you now in 3 different positions, and it is a real honor for me. Thank you for being so gracious to me, and thank you for the support. And I'll come back on my way out and I'll answer your question as I leave, okay? Thanks very much. So, I think, is David up next?
David.
Okay.
Let's go. All right.
Well, let's do this properly. So, now it's my privilege to introduce your city council member, David Ryu.
Thank you. And you know, while Mike is still here, I just want to take this time to really honestly talk about how collaborative my office has been with his. And he kept on saying, you know, I no longer, you know, write the laws, that's what I do, and he only enforces. But I got to tell you, everything I do in my office, I consult with Mike. Because, you know, it's important that we do it right the first time. So I joke because, I mean, everything that we do, like party houses, anything with enforcement, substandard streets, I kept on writing all these things. I inherited 8 lawsuits. I'm tempted to have a desk in my office just for the city attorney's office because they're always in my office. So everything that I do, without the support from the city attorney and Mike, I mean, I would not be able to do the things that I do to service and deliver services to you guys. So we really got to give Mike and his staff a big round of applause. Thank you, Mike. And I know there was a whole bunch of question and answers, and I wanted to answer, I don't know where she went, for Appian Way about trying to be proactive. And she's absolutely correct. When you talk about Appian Way, it's not about just her issues, but, you know, in December, a couple of months ago, you know, Appian Way, with the pipe underneath Appian Way bursted. And the street sunk in. And because it happened early in the morning, you know, like 4 a.m. or whatnot, it flooded and it took out 2 homes. So it flooded and demolished 2 homes. And you are absolutely correct, it's about being proactive. And what we did today, we just had a press conference with many of the leaders here who are in full support. We closed down Runyon Canyon. I know it's going to be a major inconvenience for many people in the city of LA, but that was a proactive measure. Because Runyon Canyon, the pipe under Runyon Canyon is about 100 years old. No, I'm sorry, about 80 years old. And there's about 34 leaks that have been fixed in the past 10 years. It's a disaster waiting to happen. It's going to be a major inconvenience. We're going to have to close it down for 4 months, but that's what we're trying to do, be proactive. So I'm always concerned about that and making sure that we work smarter and not just harder.